morning, it's Randytbird out here in sunny Arizona. A little high, thin clouds this morning, nothing awful. Out on the Sportster today. Been working on it a little bit, and if you caught yesterday's video, you saw one of the things that I've done. I've pretty much got all the junk off of it now, so I'm just out for riding it, checking out my new fairing. So far, pretty good. Got a nice pocket of dead air behind the windshield, or the fairing. Memphis Shades Gauntlet fairing. I had talked to Memphis Shades on the phone because I didn't see a listing for this model, and they told me, well, they couldn't verify that it would fit because they hadn't tested it. Well, this bike is essentially the same chassis as the 883 iron, and so I took a chance and put it on, and it works just fine. So there you go, Memphis Shades. I just did some R&D for you. Pay me. That won't happen. Anyway, just out for a ride on a beautiful Sunday morning in January. It's a little cool this morning, probably in the 50s right now, low 50s. But I got my jacket and my gloves, and got the vents closed on my helmet, so that's good. So I did get out yesterday for a little bit of a short ride, and I had never plugged in my microphone cable, so didn't really get any audio, so that was some pretty much unusable video unless I decide to put it to music, which I probably won't. I think I'll just delete that clip. But now that I'm out riding the Sportster today, some thoughts crossed my mind, some ruminations, if you will, is the value of simplicity. And a Sportster is a very simple machine. There's no fancy electronics other than the ignition and charging system. There's not a whole lot going on. No ride modes, no fancy brakes or anything. It's all just very simple. It's got it's got decent brakes, handles pretty well. It's a really enjoyable bike to ride, and I'm really happy that I did get it. I've been talking about it for years, about getting another Sportster, and I hadn't done it, and but now I have, and in just a week and a half's time, 2 weeks, I've raided my parts stash and found a few things online, used up a couple of gift cards I had, and changed things around. I went back to I went to 6.5 inch risers versus that slug that was in there that was basically took up the bars about 8 inches, well, or 7.5, 8 inches. And when the combination of these bars, and the 6.5 inch risers that I got, they're just a drag specialty item. It is perfect. I mean, I couldn't sit any better than this is. So I'm really enjoying the way this is set up now. I might even do a similar setup on my Street Bob here down the road. I really like the way this feels, but we'll see. I don't like the idea of the internally wired handlebars, but yeah, we'll figure it out. But back to simplicity. I mean, this bike is a motor and 2 wheels and handlebars, and that's about it. And there's a lot to be said for a simple machine. I mean, you can get a lot of adjustable suspension, which is a good thing, but the reality of it is once you get it set for a particular situation, you pretty much don't ever touch it again. You know, I could be wrong. The sport bike people like to adjust their bike for different conditions. When I had bikes with adjustable suspension, about all I ever did was increase the preload for a passenger. And again, simple. I don't have to adjust anything. I just get on the bike and ride. This bike does need a better set of shocks on the back, which is on my radar. We'll see. looking for a deal on some. I would love to have some of the fully adjustable shocks that the old Sportster S, not the new one, had. They were a piggyback shock, and they had both adjustable compression and rebound dampening and spring preload, and I really liked those shocks that I had on a 96 that I had. But yeah, I don't know, I'll keep looking for those kinds of things. I am looking for exhaust. Yeah, the exhaust system is just a straight old 2-into-2. Again, simple Harley-Davidson tradition. And what do you really need on a bike? Do you need 15 ride modes? Do you really do that much? Do you do that much different kinds of riding? You know, out here we ride a lot of straight roads. A lot of highway speeds, you know, 70 to 90 miles an hour. 90 miles an hour is theoretical, of course, if the authorities are listening. But you can do that, but you can also do it with a stock bike. You know, you can tune it in. You can do different fork springs or whatever. Again, simple, no adjustments. And, you know, I guess those things are nice to have. But I don't plan on doing any serious motor work other than exhaust and probably an air cleaner down the road. Maybe a tuner, just depending on it. I answered an ad today for some Screaming Eagle mufflers the guy had advertised. I haven't heard back yet, so maybe that'll be something. Not particularly loud, but they have a good sound. What is simple? You got handlebars and grips, and everything is simple. That's what drew me to this, and I love my Street Bob, don't get me wrong. This is in addition, and because I like to tinker. Anyway, all that said, I'll be happy to hear your comments and how you feel about different kinds of bikes. I've already seen some comments on yesterday's video, folks that do have a Sportster and a Milwaukee 8 motor, and you know, that's kind of the best of both worlds there. I guess the best of all worlds is to have a bagger too, so you could tailor your riding to whatever situation it is. You know, a lot of bikes can do it all. But you know, when we think back to when we were younger and we only had a cheap bike or something like that, I remember, man, it was everything. You do tend to get jaded as you get older. You want things that, you know, operate a little better. But I remember when I had my 73 Sportster, my first Harley, I mean, it was everything to me. And that bike was a crude, rough machine, and it took simple to the wrong extreme, I think. But you know what? It was everything to me. It was the coolest thing in my life. Back when I was 22 years old, you know, I had a Harley Davidson, and that was a lot of fun. A little windy this morning. You can feel the breeze moving this bike around. It's one thing about a lighter bike; they do tend to move around in the wind. That's alright, I'm not scared. As you can see, the flags moving on there on the road signs. Yeah, I don't really have a feel what kind of gas mileage this bike gets. So, from what I've read, I've seen anywhere from 40 to 50 miles to the gallon. I had an 84 Sportster once that got 70 miles to the gallon on one ride, and I couldn't believe it. I thought I'd calculated it wrong, but I hadn't. It was 70 miles to the gallon. This bike, I love the way this bike accelerates. It's no drag racer, but it's enough to keep you grinning. Seems to like about 3,500 RPM, 3,500 RPM. And there's a sweet spot where the vibration goes somewhere else in the bike other than the grips or the pegs, and that's fourth gear, 65. shift into 5th, and I'm up over 70 just like that. One of my favorite roads again. Just beautiful clear skies, and not much smog today. We were supposed to have some rain last week and it didn't happen. But maybe next week, who knows. February, late January, February can be unpredictable, and even in March we get some hellacious winter storms in March here. You just never know when it's going to happen. Anyway, hope you're all getting up to some good stuff. If you can't ride because of the bad weather, hopefully you're able to do some tinkering or some maintenance or repair or something to keep you connected with your motorcycle. Or some people just like to get online and watch videos from creators like myself and others. I know when I'm not riding, I'm pretty much reading or thinking about riding. They say the average man thinks about sex every 7 seconds. I'd say, well, I think about sex and motorcycles about every 7 seconds. So yeah, it's all good. It's all good. One nice thing about this stretch of road here is because it's reservation land, there's really never going to be any great buildup here. So it may build up around it, but you're always going to have this open feeling here. Man, it is definitely windy today. Yeah, these shocks got to go. They're not like rigid bike territory, but they're definitely they are definitely rough. And I've backed off the preload as far as I dare go because it will bottom out. I am not a featherweight myself, so that will allow me to compress the springs a little bit. There's not a lot of travel in these shocks to speak of either. I thought when Harley did the nitrogen things that it would be a little bit better riding than the old ones, but it really isn't. Well, you can see 1,000,000 miles today, it seems. Man, really breezy. That got a crosswind out here that's keeping me a lot of counter steering here. I may have to change the mirrors on this bike. I can see I have a real good view of my shoulder here. And on the left side, I don't know why the right side is different, but the left side seems to be a little difficult. So I've got other mirrors at home. I can change them out. Love running through the gears. This is Randytbird out here in beautiful winter Arizona, brutal winter Arizona. It's, you know, going to be 72 today, later on this afternoon, only for a couple hours, but it'll be nice. So anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribers. I made it to 700 this week, sitting at 702 right now. That is incredible, and I do thank everyone who's taken the time to subscribe to my channel and listen to my stuff. I create every week, sometimes a couple times, and just try to do this, and hope you're all interested in following my Sportster customization project. I won't call it a build because I'm not building anything. So anyway, this is Randytbird. Thank you for watching, and I will talk to you again.